Hi everyone, today I want to show you some terminal commands you should know as a beginner in web development. So this is a tutorial dedicated to getting you familiarized with the terminal as a beginner in web development. The way it's going to work is that majority of the commands I'll be executing are Linux based. So I want to do it in a way that I carry other users along. People who might be using CMD or maybe PowerShell. And majority of the commands in Linux actually works with PowerShell. So I'll be switching back and forth between PowerShell and WSL, which is the terminal I use. And before we jump right into executing the commands, I want to give you a theoretical basis of the terminal. So I'm going to show you a couple of slides and talk about them. The first thing you should have in mind is that the terminal is not scary. And to face your fear, you have to start using it. So this is the perception amongst beginners in web development, and the fact is that what the terminal gives you is the power of a Superman when you are working with your computer. There's a lot of things you cannot do in the GUI that are available by just pressing these commands into the terminal and executing them. And then these are some reasons why you should learn the terminal. The first thing is that you are in total control of whatever you do. For example, as a developer, you'll be working with Git and GitHub. And when you install Git on your computer, it comes with a GUI and something called Git bash, which is a terminal. And the fact is, when you use the terminal, you have more control over things compared to when you use the GUI, the Git GUI. So there's a lot of things that are not even available in the Git GUI that you can easily do with your terminal. Another thing is that you get to interact directly with your OS or a framework you are using. So when you use the terminal, like maybe CMD on Windows, what you are doing is that you are interacting directly with Windows, with your OS, with the Windows OS. So and that's the reason you have to be careful, because whatever you do can have a long lasting effect on your computer. And majority of the languages and frameworks of these days do come with their CLI, their command line interface. For example, Node.js comes with something called node REPL, read, evaluate, print loop, which you can use to execute your JavaScript without using the browser console. And then another reason is speed. With the terminal, you get to do a lot of things faster. For example, you can create a bunch of files in the snap of a finger with the terminal when you use the terminal. But when you try to use the GUI to perform that kind of task, you get to do it forever. And then another reason is that when you use the terminal, you get access to dependencies with package managers. If you are learning JavaScript, for example, there's a huge chance that in the future you'll be installing packages with npm. And if you're already doing things with JavaScript, then you are definitely using npm to install some packages. For example, if you want to work with React, you have to install create React app and a lot of other things. And if you are also a Python developer, if you are a Pythonista, then you'll be working with something called pip, which is the package manager for Python. And the fact is that all those packages you'll be installing, there's no way to install them with the GUI. You have to use a CLI, a terminal, to install the packages. Now, what exactly is the terminal? The terminal is the app with which you execute commands on your computer or other devices. Other devices, because these days you can install apps that emulate the terminal on your iPad or on your mobile phone. For example, on Android, there's this app called Termux, with which you can work with the terminal right on your mobile phone, right on your Android. And then one thing to know is that the term terminal is often used interchangeably with command line and shell. But the three terms are not exactly the same thing, and that's what we are going to look at next. So the terminal is the app with which you execute the commands, as I've said, and examples are WSL. WSL is the terminal I use in my day-to-day life. Git bash, which comes with Git. When you install Git on your computer, you get Git bash too. So there's also cmd.exe, which is the command prompt on Windows. There's PowerShell, which is cross-platform. You can use it on Mac, on Linux, or on Windows. And then there's a lot of others that you get to download from the internet. So a shell is the actual program that processes the commands you type when you are using the terminal. And example is ZSH, which is available on Mac, PWSH, which is the latest release of PowerShell, the new form of PowerShell, and also CMD. So the command line is the interface. We call it the CLI, the command line interface. And that's the interface with which you can enter text. It can be anything. It can be WSL or Git bash. The interface with which you enter the text is the command line, or the command line interface. So the next thing we are going to do now is to jump right in and start executing the commands. So to start executing the commands, I'm going to open up my terminal. I use the Windows terminal because with it I can have multiple tabs of different terminals open. If you press this, you are going to have access to other terminals. So I can also open PowerShell to the side. And so I'm going to zoom this a little for you guys to see more. And to make the process a lot easier, I created a gist file. I'm going to link in the description. So the first thing I believe I should look at is the keyboard shortcut, because I'll be using them a lot. And by the time you are watching this tutorial, it's going to be at the start. The keyboard shortcuts. So the first one is the up arrow, which will show you the previous command you executed. And if you continue to press it, it's going to continuously show you the commands you've executed in the past. So you can see it's showing me the commands I've executed. And if you press the down arrow again, it's going to show you the previous commands, like that, until there's nothing to show anymore. So there's also the home and end button. So what the home button does is that it takes you to the start of a line. It takes the cursor to the start of a line. If I have a text here, like let's say echo, I'm going to show you what echo does soon. Echo terminal is awesome. If I press the home button, it's going to take the cursor to the start. And if I press the end button, it's going to take the cursor to the end. So that's that. There's also Control F. If you press Control F, what it does is that it takes you one character forward. So let's say I press home and I have the cursor here. If I press Control and F, Control plus F, it's going to take the cursor one character forward. You can see I'm currently pressing Control F, and it's taking the cursor one character forward. There's Control B, which is the opposite of Control F. So if you press Control B, it's going to take the cursor one character backward. Control B, there you go. And that's it. So there's Alt plus F, which will take the cursor one word forward. So if you hold Alt and you press F, it's going to take the cursor one word forward. You can see that. I hope you can see that. And then the opposite of Alt F is Alt B, which takes the cursor one word backward. Alt B, Alt B, Alt B. So there's also Control L, which will clear the terminal. So let's say I have a bunch of commands I've executed. Let me just change directory to, I'm going to show you what cd does soon too. Let me change directory to my desktop. By that way, I'm going to execute a lot of commands, at least 4 of them. And then cd desktop. So I have these commands that I've executed. This is the prompt, and these are the commands. So if I press Ctrl L, my terminal should clear. All of these should clear. I'm going to get rid of all of this. So Ctrl L, that's it. And there's also Ctrl XX, Ctrl plus X and X again, cross X. So what Ctrl XX does is that it switches position of the cursor to the previous position. So let's say I'm moving my cursor around in the terminal, and if I press Ctrl XX, it should take me to the previous position of the cursor. Ctrl XX, you can see. So it's going to take me back and forth between the previous positions. Yeah. So there's Ctrl C, which you can use to stop the execution of a particular command. Like maybe a command is taking too long, or for example you are installing packages and maybe your internet connection gets lost and you want to stop the command, you want to stop the installation. So to do that kind of thing, what you have to do is to press Ctrl C. For example, I'm going to execute this command, find. I'm also going to show you what this does soon. So you can see this command is continuously executing. So if I want to stop it, all I need to do is to press Ctrl C. That's it. So there's also Ctrl D, which will log you out. Ctrl D should log you out, it should log out the user. So Ctrl D, you can see. So those are the keyboard shortcuts. So the next set of commands I'm going to look at is these commands I call basic commands. I call them basic commands because I don't know where to put them. Maybe they are just commands that you can use to show some things and do some things. So the first one is who am I, which will print your information, the user information. So let me just go back to my terminal, and if you press who am I, it should show me my name in Ubuntu. Yeah, there you go. This is the username I chose for Ubuntu. And if I run it in PowerShell or maybe CMD, it will show me the name of my computer. So if I say who am I, can you see this is the name of my desktop or my computer. So there's also the clear button. Clear does the same thing as Ctrl L. So if I also see what I did the other time, let me just cd to my desktop. So cd /c cd users cd user cd desktop. You can see that I have a bunch of these. If I enter clear and press enter, it should clear the terminal. That's it. So there's also sudo. This is kind of wide somehow, and what sudo does in the WSL in Linux is that it gives you administrative privileges. So for example, there's a lot of things you even have to do with administrative privileges. So if you want to do those kind of things, you have to enter sudo first. So let's say maybe I want to create a folder. I'm going to show you the command for that one. I'm going to show you what it does. Maybe I want to create a folder as an admin. I can just say sudo mkdir demo. So it's going to ask for the password, and Let me enter my password. You will see that a folder will be created after entering my password. So there you go, this is it. So that's sudo. And if you want to do other things that require administrative privileges, you have to use sudo. So there's also echo. What you do with echo is that you print stuff with it, maybe text, yeah, a string. So if I say echo terminal is awesome, it should just show me terminal is awesome. Can you see? And if you create a variable and you want to see the value of the variable, you can also use echo to do that. So let me just create a variable called my name equals Kolade. So that's the variable. If I want to print the value of the variable, I can use echo. So I'm going to say echo $, my name. So it will show me Kolade. There you go. So that's echo. Let me just clear the terminal by pressing Ctrl L, or maybe clear. So there's also man, which shows the manual. It displays the manual of a command. So let me just say, if you say man, it's going to ask you what? Manual for what? So let me just say manual sudo, maybe that will work. Manual sudo, that's the command we've executed. Or maybe echo, manual echo. It should show me information about echo, about the command. Okay, sorry, man echo. Echo. As you can see, these are various information about echo, and to get out of this kind of thing you have to press Q. So that's echo. And there's also the --f flag, which shows you things about a command. So if I say, for example, echo --f, it should show me maybe the flags I can use with this command or a lot of other things. Okay, there's no flag with echo, but let me say echo ls. I'm going to show you what ls does. Oh no, sorry, ls --help. So as you can see, and these are flags you can use with the ls command. ls stands for list. So if you press if you use the a flag with ls, it's going to show you all. It's going to show you everything like that. The next set of commands we are going to look at are the commands you use with folders, with directories. So I have them here, and there's also flags. I'm going to show you some flags as I proceed. So let's start with the commands you can use with folders, with directories. So let me just clear this, and the first one is a pwd, which stands for present working directory. So it's going to show you the current directory in which you are working on. Yes. So if I say pwd, present working directory, so this is the current directory I'm working with. That is it. So there's also a cd. This is a very useful command. It helps you switch between folders. So for example, if I have this folder on my desktop, the demo folder, I could change directory into it and start working on it by saying cd demo. So as you can see, I'm inside the demo folder now. If I say pwd, I should see the demo folder. There you go. And then to go back to the previous folder, you just say cd dot. So cd dot will take you back one level. And you can also change directory to other folders. Maybe let me just change directly to this projects folder, cd projects. So I'm inside the project folder now, and if you want to go back 2 level, remember, if you want to go back 1 level, you use cd dot dot. If you want to go back 2 levels, you use cd dot dot slash dot dot. So this is going to take you back 2 levels. There you go. You can see that I'm inside user. So cd dot dot should take me here, and dot dot again should take me back here. So that's why I'm inside the user folder now. And if I want to switch it back to my desktop, I'm just going to say cd desktop. There you go. So the next command is ls, which will list the content of a folder. So I'm on my desktop now. If I say ls, it will show me everything on my desktop. So these are what I have on my desktop. This is the project folder, which is this. This is the React.js folder, which is this. This is demo folder, which is this. So all these ones are just maybe hidden files on the desktop. So if you are using PowerShell or CMD, in CMD I'm not sure the ls command works. What you have to use instead is dir. So I'm in command prompt now. If I say dir, you can see it's now showing me the content of this user folder. And if I change directly to my desktop, I should see whatever is on my desktop. So I'm on desktop now. If I say dir, now I can see everything on my desktop: demo, projects, React.js, and some other hidden files. So that's it for CMD. And I'm not even sure clear works here. Let's say I want to clear all this. If I say clear, you can see it's not working. So what you have to use instead of clear is CLS with CMD. That's it. So same thing should be applicable to PowerShell. So let me say cd desktop. But if I use ls here, it should work because most Linux commands also work with PowerShell. If I say ls, you can see that was not working in CMD in command prompt, but it's working with PowerShell. Maybe if I do dir too, it should work. Can you see? That's it. So PowerShell is like an hybrid. You can use Linux commands with it, and you can use command prompt commands with it. So the next command with which you can work with folder is mkdir, which you can use to create a folder. So mkdir stands for make directory. So if I say I'm on my desktop now, and if I do mkdir colade projects, it should create a folder here called colade projects. So, can you see? That's it. You can create more folders. mkdir, I already have demo. Let me just say demo 2. There you go. This is it. So that's what mkdir does. It helps you create a folder. So you can create a folder with mkdir. Then there's also a way by which you can remove the folder. So to do that, to remove a folder, to delete a folder, you use a command called rmdir. So rmdir stands for remove directory. So you enter the command and then the folder you want to delete. Let's say I want to delete this demo2 folder. I will just say rmdir demo2. Let me just get rid of this project too. rmdir colade projects. Yeah, it should work. Yeah, that's it. So those are the commands with which you can work with folders. So the last time I was talking about flags. The ls flag is one of those commands that have several flags with which you can work with it. So for example, there's the A flag, which shows everything including the hidden files. So let's see if I have some hidden files on my desktop. First, I'm going to enter ls, which will show me the files or folders that are not hidden. If I do ls-a, it will show me everything alongside the hidden files. So you can see I have this and this, which are not here. So there's also the S flag, which will list the size of the files and folders. I'm not sure. Let's just do ls-s. Okay, so you can see this is the size. I'm not sure this works well, but there are also other flags with which you can work with the ls flag. There's also the -r flag, which will show everything in reverse order. So if I say ls-r, so it's going to show everything in reverse order. So you can see that. Okay, let me just do ls. This is the proper order, this is the normal order, but with ls-r you can list everything in reverse order. So those are some flags with which you can work with the ls flag. The next set of commands I'm going to show you are those with which you can work with files. So I mean, create files, move files, copy and remove files. So the first one amongst them is the touch command, which you can use to create a file of any type. So let's say, okay, I have a HTML file already. Let's say I want to create styles file and a JavaScript file. So what I will just do is touch, which is the command itself, and then the name of the file. So I wanted to create a style file, so I'm going to say styles.css. Make sure you append the extension of the file, otherwise it doesn't get created the way you want. So that's it. I have styles.css. If I want to create a JavaScript file too, I just say app.js. So you are not limited at all. You can create file type of any type. You can also create document file, text file, or whatever. So let's say touch text.txt. So there you go. This is it. So since you can create a file with a touch, you should also be able to remove a file. So to remove a file, you use the rm command. So let's say I want to remove the text file. I don't need it. I'll just do rm text.txt. So to use the rm command to delete a file, you press rm and then the name of the file. So that's it. You can see that the text file is gone. And another command is the mv command, with which you can move a file or you can rename a file. So let's say I want to rename the app.js file to index.js. So what you need to do is press mv, which is the name, which is the command, the name of the file, which is app.js, and then the new name you want to give the file. Let's say index.js. There you go. You can see that the file has been renamed. And then to move the files, if you want to move a file with the mv command, you press mv, the name of the file, and then the folder you want to move it to. So let's say I want to move all these files to the demo folder. What I'm going to do is say mv, the name of the file. Let's start with the HTML file. That's index.html. And then the folder you want to move the file to. So I'll just say demo. So the index.html file is now in the demo folder. If I cd to demo and I do ls, I should be able to see the index file. There you go. And also remember I said I want to move the styles file too and the index.js file. So I can just say again mv. Okay, I have demo here already. Let me just do styles.css. Oh, okay. I was in the demo folder and the command is not working because the styles.css file is not in this folder. So I have to change directly back to desktop where the style file is located. So I'll just say cd dot dot to go back one level, and then I'm going to run the command again, nv styles.css demo. There you go, it's inside of it now. And then I want to move the JavaScript file too, so I'm going to do mv index.js demo. So if I change directly back to demo, I should be able to see the files I just moved there. So I'm just a cd demo ls. That's it. These are the files. So that's what you get to do with the mv command. Apart from using it to rename a folder, its primary purpose is to move file to a folder. That's why it is called mv. So I'm inside the demo folder now. I want to show you some things with this index.html file by using the next command, which is cat. So what you do with cat is that you get to show the content of a file, and you can also write to a file with it. So let me clear the terminal. ls. These are the files I have there. Let's say I want to see the content of index.html. There should be nothing there because I have not put anything there. So let's say cat index.html. Okay, I have some text there, or let's say I want to write to it with the cat command. So what I'm going to do is say cat, the greater than symbol. When you use the greater than symbol in Linux, you are telling Linux to append whatever the result of this command is into the file. So you are outputting the command into the file. So let's say I want to write to the index.html file, and let me just say index.html, which is the name of the file. So the terminal is waiting for whatever I want to write into it. So let me just say this HTML file is my first. It's not my first. It's not my first. So I'll press enter and get out of the command of the execution. I'm going to get out of the execution with Ctrl+C. So if I do cat again, index.html, so I can see the content of the file. Now you can see that this HTML file is not my first, it's now there. And one thing you should notice is that this text has been overwritten, and I mean it has been replaced by this new text which I enter. So when you use the cat command to print to a file with the greater than symbol, to write to a file with the greater than symbol, it's going to overwrite whatever is already there. If you don't want what's there to be overwritten, you have to use double greater than symbol. So let's say I don't want this to be overwritten again. I will just do cat greater than index.html. Index.html. So whatever I want to write, let me just say this text won't be overwritten anymore. Press enter, Ctrl+C to get out of the command. If I do cat index.html again, I should see 2 lines of text. You can see the text was not overwritten. And then if you want to, this is an HTML file, maybe you want to code, you want to write some HTML. If you want to open VS Code, for example, right from the terminal, you just do code dot. So what this command does is that it's going to open the current folder in VS Code. Let's see that in action. So So because my laptop is a little slow, it will take some time. So this is it. You can see the demo folder has been opened. These are the HTML file. These are the files. This is HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So from here, you definitely want to do, this is not what you want to have in your HTML file. You definitely want to have some tags or whatever. So I'm just going to create a boilerplate and I'm going to write a bunch of things here. Let me just do lorem 20, press enter. I'm going to duplicate it a lot so as to show you some other commands with this. I'm going to press Ctrl S and I'm going to close VS Code. So the next command I'm going to show you is the head and tail command. So with head, you get to print the first 10 lines of the text in a file. So let's do head index.html. Remember, we are inside the demo folder which has the index.html file. Index.html. So this is the first 10 lines inside our index.html file. I can confirm that again if I want by pressing code dot. So as you can see, this is the first 10 lines. This is the first 10 lines, and that's what I have here. So if I want to print the last 10 lines, I'm going to use a command called tail. So tail index.html. So this is the last 10 lines. If you want to see a particular line of text from the start, you can use the n flag with head. So if I do head dash n, the number, I think 20, let me do 20, and then the name of the file. You can see it's going to show me the first 20 lines. So you can use the n flag with head or tail to view more than 10 lines of text in a file. So the next command I'm going to show you is the wc command, which stands for word count. So if I do wc index.html, it will show me the word count. You can see this is 25. This should be the lines of text inside the file. This should be the word count, and this should be the byte size of index.html. Let's confirm that. So you can see that, okay, we said 25 lines. So here you can see that we have just 25 lines of text, and we have 299 words, and then 2667 byte size. That's it. So another command I want to show you is the find command. You can use it to view the tree of the current working directory, I mean the file tree. So inside this demo folder, if I do find, I should be able to see the file tree or the folder tree. And you see this is the tree, and then if I cd it to my desktop, this is going to take a long time. Okay, let me just do cd dot. If I do find, it's going to, you can see there's a lot of files here. That's why it's taking a long time. So I have a bunch inside projects and React.js. So that's why this is going to take a long time. To get out of this, I'm just going to press Ctrl C. I mean to bust this. That's it. So you can also use the find command to search for a file. So let me change directly back to the demo folder, and then if I do find and then the file name, I should be able to see that the file really exists there. Let's say index.html. You can see if this file is not does not exist in the folder, I should see a different thing. Let me just do file. This file does not exist in the demo folder. You can see no such file or directory exists. So that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope it gets you a little familiarized with the terminal. The reason why I came up with this tutorial is that I was making another tutorial on Git and GitHub, and then I realized to work with Git, not today, I already realized that a long time ago, to work with Git, you need to get familiarized with the terminal. So that's why I came up with this tutorial. And then everyone, please watch out for the Git and GitHub tutorial. I'm going to drop it very soon. So that's everything. Thank you very much and have a nice time.